All right, all right. Look at Sonia. Hey,
I have no sound.
what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Mornings with Movers. We are going to have an amazing episode today. We got all of our past guests all in one place. We got the whole team on board today, even though I think Cliff slept in a little late. But we here. So let's turn up. Again, I'm Dwyght with Max Movement Training. We have Clifford Starks, aka Sonia today. We have Phil Diamond from All About Moving Tampa Bay. We got Jay Burnham, James Hatfield. We got Yuriy Margolin, Mario Reyes joining, Colin Vansworth. Ah, man, let's go. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing great.
Doing good.
What is the headphone? What is the headphone plug in at?
Oh man,
Plugs in the little spot on your computer.
There's a little
There's
hole.
not even a hookup spot for the headset.
All right, so yeah, let's get started.
Well,
James,
I mean, it's already started.
if
You just gotta
everybody
tell
don't
me.
remember, James Hatfield is from Live Switch. So video software is his game. So what's going on, James?
Where's the Seaport hookup at? I was on the side of it.
Oh man, you still figuring that out?
Phil's still trying to find out where the hole in the side of the laptop is. Bless his heart. He's gonna find it though.
I could make a couple of jokes, but I don't know.
Hey,
James, are you from the South when you said that? Bless your
Oh,
heart,
yeah.
they made me think
Yes.
you're from the South.
I'm in North Carolina, man. I've been here
Yeah.
most of my life. So you can't take the boy out of the boy off the southern out of the boy out of south, whatever. It's gonna be in here forever. So yep.
Bless
No,
your
it's good to
heart.
see you guys. We've been having a good time. Been enjoying going around. We're flying all over his conference season. We're getting to meet everybody, finally shake hands, get in front of folks, and then just get to know everybody a little bit more. We've been doing virtual conferences, webinars with a lot of folks here on the call. We've really been enjoying just giving back to the community. I know it's been a little bit of an interesting season for everybody, but we're excited about where we're headed. And thanks for having me again, Dwyght.
Oh yeah, definitely. So any new developments with Live Switch? Like how has it been? Have you filmed any new strategies that other moving companies can be using with the technology?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we came in, and it's still a big part of it, is doing virtual estimates, making sure you save the gas money, being convenient for the customer. That's been where we've landed. Where we've expanded is looking at pre-existing conditions, really protecting your backside, making sure before anyone touches anything, you do that pre-existing video, you get pictures, and then you get to it. That way, one claim prevented is your bottom line protected. So we've really seen a lot more in the operational side now using video. And then I think at the end now we're starting to see customer testimonials. So afterwards, a happy customer, it's always great to see those 5 stars, see the written review, but it's another thing to see someone's face and someone really just lighten up with the good work that the teams have done. So we're starting to see video get into all different places of the move. We got some new things coming out. We got a brand new product that just launched as well called Live Switch Concierge. So we're constantly innovating, and we got some new things on the horizon as well for you guys. So we're excited about that. So lots changing, lots going on. We're still learning and having a good time with the companies.
That is awesome. So we also have been using Live Switch heavily with our operations, and just like I said, getting eyes on the project has definitely helped with just being able to cube everything out and make sure that, hey, our estimates are a whole lot more accurate, especially for truck sizes, because we've been getting into some situations with customers like, they throw in the ones that don't do the videos, at the end it's like, oh, well, we had 50, 60 garbage bags or whatever the case is. Well, that's typically not something you would inventory on your inventory sheet. We're like, oh, how many cubes is a garbage bag? Well, damn, how much stuff do you have in there? So that's definitely been making a difference where, it can be the difference maker with an upset customer to a happy customer, because it's like, well, hey, either we're going to have to sacrifice these 50 garbage bags because your inventory is enough to fit in that one truck, or something. And they'd be like, oh, well, I told him I had garbage bags.
Well, half the moving companies won't even take garbage bags. So
I know, and that's a whole nother thing. But on move day, you're not trying to argue with these customers and say, hey, I'm going to put your garbage bag in a box. So it's a nightmare, but you make do.
it's easier to explain that when it's a long distance move.
Oh yeah, definitely.
My excuse is usually, look, Like, if we toss it in there and a big bag gets ripped, your stuff flies all over the truck. Do you really want that?
Definitely. Jay, what's been going on? What's new?
Well, I've just been doing a lot of writing. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I sold the 7-Figure Moving Academy Facebook group. So that's no longer under my purview, but I've been writing. I've got 2 published books. My 3rd one is already published. I have not yet received it in my house, but that's what I've been doing.
That is awesome. Phil, I know you were writing a book. How far along are you now?
Not very far. You guys that know me, I've been in the hospital for several days. I've got some medical issues going on, so kind of going through that personal process right now, but getting through. You got to keep yourself healthy.
That's the name of the game in this industry.
Yeah. So my book is, it's titled about my life. A couple of guys that do know me, I was Clifford there, suggested, share my life through a book, and it's, I'm going through the process of it, and it's difficult because I've lived 4 different lives and it's difficult digging up some past things to make amends with certain people and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So
you should have somebody should write out a bunch of questions to have somebody interview you in interview style, have them interview you, and you can do it all verbally, and then you can send it to somebody on Fiverr or something to actually transcribe it, and then you can, from there, you can edit it out and turn it into a book.
ChatGPT, people, ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion, brother.
Yeah,
we had a
you can have your book done in 7 days if you do it that way. That was how I did my first one.
Wow. That's amazing, man.
Technology nowadays.
I know. It's funny, man, because I've been writing it down on a notepad, old school, and it's just a whole bunch of jumble right now, and but get there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so go down the line. Colin, what is going on?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me here again. We're growing. We're only 18 months in, but we're in that aggressive growth phase, and we just opened up our 2nd location. Planning on opening a 3rd location in the new year. Just launched 2 new businesses. So we launched a cleaning company and a junk removal company. We're really just trying to take over the world. That's the goal. Anything short of that, I failed.
All right, pinky in the brain. Let's go.
I see him out there killing it. I see Colin out there killing it. I'm like, man, that guy's doing really well, man. I'm very big inspiration, man. Good deal, man.
And me and you should talk, Phil, man. I live 4 different lives too, man. So I understand.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, I've seen your profile pictures, Colin. I was like, who is that?
It's funny, man. This past July, I came into my 21st year of sobriety, and that's been a road of its own. Watching some of the younger guys go through business with substance abuse issues, alcohol issues, which is a national thing. I don't want to touch too much on it, but a lot of business owners fall short. This is a very stressful business. Any business is stressful, and me personally, I have 5 businesses, and it's very difficult sometimes. And, we neglect our health and not realize that we done got older, man, and you just don't bounce back like you used to, and
depends on how fat you are.
I'm getting
like it sounds really good.
And I'm getting fat too, so yeah.
All right. So let's keep going down the line. Colin. So I think you were did you announce the expansion?
Yeah, we announced it. We have something else in the pipeline. We actually just acquired what I believe is the best phone number in the history of moving companies, also given my name, Relocation Engineers. So we're just we're going to announce that phone number shortly. We're just getting somebody to set up like the IVR menu. But yeah, the phone number is 187-RELOCATE.
Nice.
And that's our new toll-free number. And just super pumped, man. And also on a personal note, some big news. Most of you probably don't know my past, but not to get into it too much, but I was a wild one when I was younger. Ended up going to prison for 5.5 years when I was in my early 20s. And I'm eligible for a pardon now. So I should be able to be in the USA in the next, hopefully 18 months to come and meet some of you guys face to face. So I'm super excited about that.
Definitely. Or we're gonna have to come out to you either way.
Hey, man, you come out here anytime, man. I'll take you guys to a Raptors game, a Blue Jays game.
Well, ain't anybody coming out there right now. It's cold. It's 45 degrees in Albany.
That's the same weather.
Don't go Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs.
Cliff, what is going on? I know you just had an amazing show. So what is going on?
Yeah, I think things are coming together. I'm having a lot of fun on this journey. Appreciate you bringing us all together. James, Colin, sending you guys lots of love. Respect, Colin, on what you got going on. Jay, always appreciate you and your insights and what you're putting together. And Phil, it's good seeing you, brother. I'm glad you're up and doing your thing. You know, I got a lot of love for you. Yuriy, great seeing you as well. And Mario Reyes, my boy, he might be coming out to AZ. We might get in some training in, and I'm super excited about that because Mario was my boy since before I even connected with Louis Massaro. You know, he was in the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, and seeing all you movers, respect and love, because I know you guys spin a lot of plates, and watching you guys do what you do, absolutely respect it. I'll be speaking in Hawaii October 22nd. So I'm just having a lot of fun on this journey.
Nice. Yuriy, what's going on?
I like how you leave me last for the. Well, no, you still got Mario. You got the big dog. That's right. You got the big dog in the end. I'm setting the plate, right? What's going on? Going to 2 events in October. I'm going to be in Arizona, and then I'm going to be in New York State. So I'll be seeing those of you guys that make it there. And if I don't see you there, then I'll see you all over the place. Obviously, we're keep bumping out new episodes every Monday, so that's coming along. Meeting a lot of new companies. I mean, obviously, you know, there's ups and downs in business. We had a recent company that we tried in Canada, has its own tribulations and challenges. So we're going to be still trying to perfect that. Talking to more companies in UK, so we're still trying to be international, cover all of US and cover Canada, cover UK. So we're going to go there. We're going to be doing a lot more marketing in the coming months, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm having a blast. The show has been fun. I've had a lot of interesting people. So I've had some of you guys on, so it was great.
Yeah, definitely. All right. And Mario, last but not least.
How you doing? Good morning, everybody. How are you?
All right.
Hello, everybody on the panel. Hello. For those that don't know me, I'm Mario Reyes. Yuriy, Phil, Cliff. We've already either been on a show together, or Yuriy I've known for years. And Dwyght I met at an event. Oh man. Probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And then Yuriy, it's been years. But thanks for having me on. What I've been doing is just getting ready for next summer. You know, we do a lot of accounts receivable, so just making sure all that's built and ready to go. And we revamped our COD sale. So all our agents were doing that and just staying busy. So we just working on our processes pretty much. This is what we've been doing. We had a great summer. A lot of the business did not. We were fortunate that we had a fantastic summer, but just getting ready for this winter. That's about it, man. Just hanging in there. Other than that, a little under the weather today, but other than that, nah, I'm doing real good. Over the last year, I've lost 50 pounds.
Oh, wow, man.
Back in the boxing gym. Real good, running.
You know what? I'm not even trying to step on the scale right now. You know.
Hey, you lost it. I found it.
I sent it over to you, Yuriy. I said, "Hey,
Right.
here,
I could feel that literally.
Take this away from me."
You know what? I keep saying I was a little envy when Cliff was like, "Oh, you know, you and him and Mario about to go to Arizona and spar." I'm like, "Oh, nobody gonna invite me." But then I think, well, Cliff,
come on through. The more the merrier. Bill, come on through.
Well, Cliff would work you out too, because let's get it straight. I'm not sparring, but Cliff is going to work me out. He can work you out too, but I want you to be able to do the show. So you may want to just watch this first time.
Well, Cliff out here in his profile photos looking like he's still in his 20s with 6-packs and stuff. I don't know if I want that.
I know, right?
Hey, I got 1 pack.
Hey, Clifford, I'll pay you to come train me. How about that?
It's working. I'm down. Let's do it.
I might have to think about that too.
All right, so let's talk about the nature of the industry. It is what it is. It's out there, you know. A lot of people didn't have the summers that they expected to have. No matter how much marketing, how much sales we pushed, it was just summer was the summer, you know. And now we're in the winter, and like I like to mention, you know, we need to be focusing on the next busy season at this point. You know, focus on what didn't go right this year and try to improve for next year. So any advice from the room, like what could people be doing to tighten up a little bit?
Well, you got to understand that next year is going to be even worse. We thought this year is bad, but you know, we've got a lot of things happening that's going to actually create one hell of a perfect storm when it comes to our economic outlook. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. I mean, we've got the commercial real estate scene is about to collapse. Inflation is high. It's super high. We're like up to 8% now. So we've food and gas prices are over the roof, and Russia and Saudi and BRICS are threatening to raise the gas prices even more. So we've got a perfect storm. So the thing that we got to understand is if that's going to happen, we got to start preparing for the worst now and get ready for that. So it means tighten up our standard operating procedures and getting our processes dialed in, getting our finances, you know, like spot on, like so that we know where every single penny is coming from and where it's going to. And then it's just a matter of promotion, and promotion is going to require some creativity. It's going to be back like when I first started back in 2008, when, you know, we did all that guerrilla marketing. Well, I did a bunch of guerrilla marketing. You know, we don't have the free sources like Craigslist anymore, but where else can we do it? How can we stand out, make ourselves stand out? So it's just going to be tighten the belt and promote.
Absolutely. We definitely need to focus on alternative ways of advertising in general. I mean, social media is huge right now. So like we just added we didn't have Instagram and TikTok. We have Instagram and TikTok now too. So we added all that stuff, and it's about creative materials. It's about, if you're doing what I'm doing, for example, if you're doing video stuff, or even if you're not and you're thinking about it, now is the time. Because like I was just I got this new episode coming up with this guy that does removals in England, and he also happens to be a current football player, professional football player, soccer player in England, and all of his clients come from Facebook, every single one of them. So that's his major focus. That's where all of his leads are coming from, is using Facebook to its fullest. So we definitely got to make sure that we use the social media. It's huge. So honestly, any of you guys that are listening to this, if you think that you can swing by based on how you used to do things, it's not going to happen, because younger companies, faster companies that are more up on the social media stuff, that are more up on marketing stuff, if you guys don't change what you're doing, they will pass you by.
I can 100% agree with that. I would say when it comes to marketing, especially if you're going to do social media, definitely be a lot more creative. You know, we see the same posts going out, or I see it at least, going out all the time where there's different moving companies promoting themselves, saying the same thing, same story about, oh, we're this company, call us, we're reliable, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, there are so many customers seeing the same message, and likelihood they're on Facebook, they're not looking for movers right at this point. So, you know, they're just scrolling and they see your message. Oh, okay, well, hey, he's promoting his business. Let me just like it. But, you know, just to show, you know, that we support, but we're going to keep moving. So I feel like you need to be dropping value. Obviously, a lot of people dislike, you know, what Louis Mazzaro says, but some of the things he did say was like, hey, you know, talk about, you know, give tips, give values, talk about, you know, helpful tips to help people move, or how to pack up certain things, you know, even if it's random. You know, you could talk about stuff about home improvement. It's fall right now. Talk about fall topics, talk about whatever type of seasonal topics you want to talk about. But, you know, just diversify your marketing. Don't always just be saying, well, hey, I want to sell you, I want to sell you, I want to sell you. Provide value, and the people will buy you because they just keep seeing you pop up with good gems.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% too, because one of the things is that, and please understand, I don't dislike Louis Massaro. I respect the man. He was able to find a great niche for himself. But I also think that for me, as a salesperson, I don't need to say 50 billion times, pay me money so we can sell for you on my podcast. I don't have to do that. And I don't do that. So to me, it's the value that I bring when I talk to you guys. Any one of you that I had on the podcast, I focus more on you than I focus on myself. And that's done on purposely and strategically, because people that listen to me and listen to my podcast and listen to you guys on my podcast, right? They hear, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. Look at him talking to Mario. Look at him talking to Colin. You know, look at him talking to James, Matt, and Dwyght. I talk to all of you guys, Jay. You know, and it's about the value that we bring ultimately. That's what people appreciate versus the continuous, unrelenting sales pitch. So it's like we go to. Many of us originally came to Louis, for example, because we wanted to figure out a different way to do things, maybe figure out something new, feel like we're learning stuff, right? But to me, with all due respect to Louis, anytime you go nowadays, or you listen to his virtual, it's the same exact information every single time. You need to have something new. For those of you guys that are coming back to his seminars, right? You're looking to potentially hear something new, and you don't. You hear the same exact pitch every time.
I guess the question I've got here is, you know, they have a saying that like history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. And some of us have been through tough times, through recessions, through downturns. And oh, Jay said it's going to be worse next year. Okay, you can't change that. So what can we do? You know, that's what I want to know. Like, what has worked in the past? You know, sometimes it's good to go sit at the feet of the folks that have maybe a few gray hairs on their head or their chin. Say, what did you do?
Or no hair.
Or no hair. Mario, I'm looking at you and a couple others, you know. But, you know, what did you do in the past to, one, tighten up, to be successful even during a downturn? I don't know, what is my video doing? The second thing, it gave me a thumbs up. And the other thing is, what are other pathways to cash? Going into off season is exciting because it means you get to open up other opportunities you may not be doing now, either making your business more efficient or find a new pathway. Like I deal with other home services. You guys, there's these guys called window washers. Well, they don't wash windows in the winter because it freezes. You don't want to be spraying water. So these guys turn their entire business in the winter into Christmas light businesses. It's very common for someone to do Christmas lights and window washing. What can you do with trucks and fellas during the off season to make cash? That's what I would like to know. You know, where's other pathways to money?
Yeah, I think one winter we tried doing snow removal. You know, it's one of those things that it's last minute, of course, because you know, when it snows, and people are going to call you. You know, they're gonna call you a last minute and say, hey, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Hey, can you guys come snowplow my yard? And yeah, that's never fun doing last minute services, but you know, it was one of those things where it's like, hey, how can we keep the guys moving in the winter? You know, up here in New York, we get -7-degree weather, but hey, customers think it's normal. So it's like,
No, I love what James was saying though. What can we do? Curtis is actually going to be doing Christmas lights, but I will say this: the number one thing, we serve customers. We serve customers, and the question is, what are we asking them? How are we taking care of them? What do they want? What do they love? What do they need? They will pay for value. And as I looked at the moving company, I'm like, oh, people don't value people. And it's our job to make them value us. And the way we make them value us is we ask them questions. We become their trusted advisor. And we create systems around referrals. We make it where they have such a damn good move. They want to talk about us again and again and again. And we nurture them. And we stay on top of them. We don't tell them, oh, well, they only move every 7 years, so they don't matter anymore. We make them matter. That's the beauty of business. It's all the same. And there's downturns for all kinds of businesses, and the creative are the ones who win, and everybody else gets ran over. And Mario said something about me. He goes, Cliff, you fought in the UFC. You have everything that it takes to be in business. And I didn't get it. Not at first. But as I started going through it, there are patterns, there are systems. And you just figure out the patterns in the systems. And the pattern in the system is I take a cold prospect, I serve them, I make them love me more than everybody else. And I figure out, how do I get that person to talk to me and talk about me regularly?
Yeah,
I agree with you.
if I could just jump on that and add to it, we have this thing called an email list. And that email list is a huge asset. You lose your business today, you could take that email list and start up another business or same business or what up tomorrow, right? There is no reason why you shouldn't be using that email list, and you should have segmented email lists. Email list of those who didn't buy from you, email list of those who did buy from you, and you send them similar messages about, hey, you know, what can we do? This is a great way to use your email list to find out what do people need and want, and what would they be willing to pay for. You know, maybe maybe they don't have time to clean their home, so add a division to your org board where you start a home cleaning business during the winter time, right? Where you go and clean their business. Maybe they have kids. Okay, start a daycare or something, you know, dog walking. It doesn't matter, you know, but that email list is very, very few people use that email list the way they should be using. So a lot of moving companies will use the email list and they'll send them a newsletter, but that newsletter is me. It's all about me. It's time you start taking that and go, what do you want? What do you need? What can we do for you? Right? And there's so many profit points and profit centers, even after they've done the move, that you could be utilizing. Even if you don't start a company, you could be getting referrals, you know, sending somebody to, you know, junk removal or you know, home repair or whatever. And even if you don't start that business, you can get referral fees, right? Another thing you need to do is there's got to be some sort of subscription business. James, he's got a subscription service, right? The big profit guys, Amazon, Netflix, Disney, everybody's got subscription services, right? Everybody. That is the business model of today. And if you don't have some sort of subscription service, you're going to fall back. And I think one of the things that people should do, especially if they're doing big jobs, is they should be offering financing, offering 12-month, 18-month, 24-month financing on some of these big moves, and then add interest interest to those payments, and that's going to create you a subscription type model, right? So maybe people are money's tight right now. So how do you solve that problem for it? Well, you finance the move for them, like you're going to buy a new car, right? Okay, that move was $10,000. We've got a 24-month period. It's going to cost you $600 a month or whatever it is, right? And yes, there's going to be those guys who fall off, but if you just have it in your contract, you just send it to a credit collector. You sell the debt for, 25 cents on the dollar, and you still collected 4, 5, 6 months or whatever, and then you just send it off and let them start going collect it, and then add somebody new to your thing. It's just part of business, but there is inherent things. But if you just think of that, how can you increase that your business through the subscription model? Storage is a great way.
We just recently added financing to all our moves at a low credit score. So I think that's going to be a game changer for us in our market. So that's something that we're doing. And we worked on that for about a couple months, and then we just are starting to roll it out like as of last week. So I think that it's available. Everybody can do the research on it and see which direction they want to go. But I just say this. Some people say, I think I agree with all the panelists that you have to definitely see what the client wants. But at the same time, I think that you have to be a master before you open up another business, become a master in your trade, and then branch out. Because you can say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do junk removal, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I mean, we do things that we want to, in order to stay relevant. But at the same time, one of my friends that owns a company called Flycon, that's what he said. He said, at the time, they just did fine furniture. And he said, man, you have to become a master at your trade, specialize. Then you can branch out. And now his car division is much bigger than his household goods division. So, and there are over 200 trucks. I remember when he had 6, so it's, I think that some of the younger viewers out there, because we're all kind of getting up in age, may hear this and say, oh yeah, I'm going to open up 6 different businesses, or they hear Phil say, I own 5 businesses. Well, it takes a lot. So I just say, focus on one, get really, really, really good at it, define your processes, define everything about it. And then you'll know when it's the right time to expand, because the opportunity will just come to you, without you chasing it as much. Yuriy and I have been through like a journey together over the years, and seeing what the customers like and dislike, and things have changed. And I do think other social media is a big, big hit, and that's going to change too. I mean, like, we're going to go under something else soon, and we just have to be available for it. Wintertime, I think Jay mentioned that next year will be worse. I think for me, it's just as slow as 9/11, which was nothing compared to 2008, because nothing moved after 9/11. So like, it was like, that was the worst time. And I've been doing it for 40 years that I ever saw, was after 9/11, that first year, because nothing moved. I mean, there was very little activity on all markets. And that's what we're going to right now. But there's opportunities out there. There's companies that they've had enough and they'll throw in the towel, expand that way, get their phone numbers, help that business owner out. Maybe you can combine, and instead of opening up another branch, maybe partner up with them and slowly take over their business. Take it a different approach, and so that they still may have a job, or they may be great in sales but terrible in operations. You may already have a good operations, team that can help run his business, and he can be a sale, and like, he can do or he or she can do what he's meant to do, or they may be heavy in accounting and they may be able to help you. And so I think to look for opportunities like that is going to be the future moving forward. And Cliff mentioned that for everybody that doesn't know, Cliff fought at a high level. And I always tell people, if you can be that, if you can go in front of 10,000 people and perform, and it's not like baseball where, oh, I struck out, you can be physically injured. It's more stress than, and I fought competitively myself. It's more stress than you ever go through in any kind of business. In any business, it's so just to say that, but that's pretty much what I had to offer right now. Dwyght, what do you think is going to happen? I know that. What's your take on how the economy is going to go?
Well, honestly, I like Jay's approach because Jay, I know he sticks his nose to the ground and really understands the economy more than a lot of us pay attention to nowadays. We kind of, for me, it's like one of those people where you lick your finger and you put it up in the air and you're like, oh, it's cold out today, so so I gauge the temperature as I see fit, but for me, it's kind of like, well, hey, I get joyous when it's like when we're out of the chaos because I know that, hey, you know what? We was in the chaos. Now I have time to focus on what went wrong, what we couldn't do correctly. And I look forward to sometimes these times of the year where I can say, oh, the quiet. I can focus on growth. I can focus on whatever opportunities are out there, but the downside to that is you're also thinking in the back of your mind, geez, I got to get these guys to work. So it's one of those things that you don't want to panic in a situation. You don't want to immediately jump to lowering your rates because, oh, well, we're not getting any jobs, or, hey, if I lower my rate to, like I said, there's one guy that I know that lowered his rates to $105 an hour for 2 men in a truck. And, and still may not be keeping the schedule busy, or still may not be able to pay for his truck insurances and, whatever other perks that he want to pay for. So it's just like, we don't want to be reactive. We still want to like see if we in these off times, or if it's going to get worse, hey, are we doing more than we need to be doing? Are we having excess things in our office that we shouldn't be having? Go down on your P&L statement. Start making some unnecessary cuts, or necessary cuts, if I say it right. Whereas like, oh, I don't need this vending machine right now, whatever the case is, if it's costing me too much money and people ain't spending enough money on it, whatever you have to do to make the necessary cuts, where maybe you don't change the face of how your company look, but you realize that, hey, you have more money to allocate other places, such as, hey, let me incentivize my guys. Let me take my guys out for lunch this day to increase the culture of my company, so that basically they understand that, hey, you're not just a number. You're not just hey, go to FedEx today, load up these boxes, and I'll see you next week. No, hey, we're going to spend this time. We're going to, go out paintballing. We're going to go out, have Thanksgiving feast. We're going to go out and do something to make you feel like, hey, you know what? We understand that it's slow. We're going to do what we can to do for you, because obviously you don't want to take that money and just give bonuses. You give bonuses, now people are expecting bonuses. So you got to realize you have to use that money wisely to be able to just entice your culture. Make people understand that, hey, you know what, this is just the nature of the business. It's slow everywhere. You can quit and go to another company, but ultimately the grass isn't going to always be green on the other side. And I've seen a lot of employees want to come back later and say, oh yeah, they weren't treating me right. Management was doing this, management was doing that. So, and at that point, depending on how they left, I'm like, sorry, you can't come back now, but.
Well, you know what? I think that the downturn is necessary in some ways, because a lot of guys got in the moving business when it was great economic times. And for those of us who've been around, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I think that the true mark of any business person is anyone can do success. We can all handle when we win the lottery, or maybe some of us, I might go crazy, but like, but it's when you don't win the lottery and you still have to keep on going. So I think that, like I said, this opportunity, and this has happened before. It's nothing that it hasn't happened before. Excuse me. But we just have to be ready for any opportunities that come our way, be ready for whatever we have to do, and just realize that, an old cowboy told me this a long time ago. I had a real bad experience in the 80s, and he actually picked me up off the side of the road, and I was pretty down, and It was 1986, and I had like a $3,000 toll bill, which today would have been like $18,000. Like, it was crazy. And he said, "Man, this is pretty." He said, "You're pretty down right now." Before he got me to a hotel and a restaurant and talked to everybody in the small town and said, "Hey," told everybody who it was. He said, "This is a pretty bad day, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And he said, "I want you to think about your worst day ever in your life, not just today, your worst day ever." And he said, "You think about it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "It's behind you." And I think that if we take that approach, that, it's all going to be behind us. And, we'll be back again and be fat and sassy again. And I think this all be behind us. So I'm actually just looking for when it's better again. So yeah, we're going to have a quelling, and yeah, it may be some, tough times. So a lot of our employees, or a lot of the guys out there, have to understand that it doesn't matter. We need them and they need us, but we have to be a cohesive team. We have to learn to I think either Jay or I don't know, someone else in the program said our customers are the main thing. We have to service the customers. We have to increase their productivity. We have to add value. So, yeah, that's what I have to say.
Yeah, I think something to consider, being the new guy on the block. I'll have you know, we didn't even have a product this time last year and moving. I didn't have a product. I drew it on my iPad this time last year, and I didn't know anything about moving. Zero. I come from clinical, fintech, and technology. I knew nothing about you guys. How did I get to know everybody on this call? I cold called them. I cold called Mario. He gave me 2 hours. We hit it off. We couldn't stop talking, right? Cold called Dwyght, cold called Jay, cold called Yuriy. I pick up the phone and I learn. And I sit with customers. We sit and we sit down and listen. And we are the fastest moving company, moving software company globally right now during the downturn. I mean, high five. I'm also a fastest growing company in other areas too. I'm learning about commercial cleaning. I'm learning about property management, moving about junk removal, fastest growing junk removal, all high fives. Who cares? Who cares? My point is that you may be going into an off season not knowing squat about what fill in the blank. You know what you got to do? Pick up the phone and get to know someone who knows how to do it. Get to know someone who's a master at hanging Christmas lights. Get to know someone who's a master commercial mover. Pick up the phone, humble yourself, and get out the pen and paper and learn. I've grown fast growing companies from 9 people to $1 billion. We want to build some of the fast growing companies in America. Why? Hustle. And I don't expect anyone to do anything for me. I don't live that way. I come to serve and not be served. And to serve, when I get to know someone, I say, thank you for their time. I reach out. Would you be willing? Hey, I'd love to learn from you. I show respect. And then you know what happens if I'm listening and I'm nodding my head, I'm smiling, I'm thanking them. They tell me their whole life story and they give me the answer to the test. I learn from my prospect, customer, or whatever. So if you don't know something, if you don't know how to do a cash flow statement, go sit with a bookkeeper. You don't know how to hire somebody, go to someone who is a master at hiring. That's what, don't look back. Nothing's going to come to you. And who cares? Let the rain come. Because they say even a turkey flies when the wind is blowing. Turkeys can't fly. And the wind stopped blowing. Okay. Learn to fly, my man. You know what I mean? So I think that's tough. That's kind of the tough love thing. But you can get to know everybody. You can be a nobody this time and now become somebody. And I got meetings with CEOs of the top software companies in the moving. Now they're calling me. Why? You know what I mean? Like that's what it takes. Go ahead, Dwyght.
Yeah. I don't think we could have a James and a Cliff on the same show because they set the tone way too darn high.
I know, right?
That's awesome though. It's all good.
I know. You're like, what do you say now?
I love that.
No,
Well,
I think you have to come from a place of service. Like you have to be a servant
Yep.
leader. So I think that was very well put, James. But I think that we do have to come from a place of service, both for our employees and for our clients. So I mean, it's a two-way street. And if we instill that new culture with everyone coming in the door and previous clients, like Jay said, like a re-engagement program with past customers via email, via Slack, via anything, I think that's very important. So yeah, very well put, James. Thank you very much.
I think too that
As
sorry, Cliff. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. But I was saying, as Mario was saying, get so good, people come to see you. And it's like, are you a specialist? Are you really a specialist? Are people seeing you? Are they banging your door down? And there's a way that you can get so damn good that people want to see you. Now, with the moving industry, it was interesting because the times were so good that everyone was jumping on, like, oh my goodness, I got to get in this. Oh, I get in this. And then when the shit hits the fan, it's like, oh no, you actually have to be good at business. You got to be good at the process and understanding what works and what doesn't work. And what's so cool is Dwyght, you put all of this together. You know, a lot of people coming together with their struggles, with their challenges, with their good times. And also the audience at home that's listening, appreciate you. One contextual thing I will say is take all of this and ask yourself the question, how does this apply to me? Because as James was saying, you got to take action. Without action, it doesn't matter. You can have all the knowledge in the world. Oh, I know all the things to do. I know everything that I have to do. But if you don't actually take the action to build that muscle, to understand your audience, it's not going to work. And James, well done. I didn't know it was a year. Like, you really did blow up. I got to see him as he was blowing up. And I thought, oh, he must have been in the game for a while, but no, 1 year. That's all it takes. You'd be surprised what you can do in 365 days. What you can do in a week, come on. You know, like, there's not much you can do in a week, but 52 of them, you can do a lot.
I think one thing to just, by extension of that, Clifford, is that we need to take the time now, or at every time, to really start educating ourselves on all facets of the business world, entrepreneurship, personal development. We cannot just be sitting idle and just, you know, listen to a podcast or a YouTube video, right? And think, oh, we've got the world by the tail now. You've got to actually study. You've got to read books. I've read, and I'm not bragging, but I've read so far this year, I've read over 60 books this year, right? I've written 4, right? And the point is we have to start educating ourselves on how to hire, how to do sales, how to do marketing, right? And it's more than just listening to it on, going to Audible and listening to the book. Because usually if you're listening to Audible, you're doing several other things, which means you're not really consuming that information. You might get a tidbit here and there, but you're really not studying what the people who are in the know actually know. So you got to actually take the time, take an hour, read 10 pages, 20 pages, however much it is a day, every single day. It's got to be a discipline, and start reading books by, Tim Ferriss, by Anthony Robbins, by Dwyght Mack, by Clifford Starks. Start reading books. Read Phil Diamond's book about how he lived his life and how he's overcome his challenges, and Colin, those are great. We got to start doing things like that and start learning. Hey, it's not just, there's so much information out there. We're in an age right now that we have such a plethora, a cornucopia of information that's just right at our fingertips. And most people in their spare time are playing Donkey Kong. Oh, that dated myself. I'm sorry. What's the new game these days? I don't know, but instead of Netflixing and chilling, why don't you take some time, and read a good book that's going to help you in your business or help you personally. And if you're married, sit down with your wife and have a book, a book club, and actually start doing that so that you really get it, include your family. And by extension, this is the time, especially wintertime, is now by extension is where we take the time and we start educating our crew. We start training. We start getting them doing drills, practical exercises, start getting them on thing. Because you can't have a premium service with cut rate employees, right? You just can't, right?
So,
you want to.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, so what it boils down to, everybody, is time management. Setting your block time, setting your schedule to make sure that you get what you need to get done. As owners, we already know we wear 7 hats, no matter if we got an operations manager or we got a sales manager. At the end of the day, they're still going to come to you. So you're the senior sales manager, or you're the senior ops manager, or whatever the case is. So at the end of the day, it comes down to, how do you manage your time? How do you get the most out of your day? How do you balance your work life with your personal life? Because at the end of the day, we can't just say, well, oh man, I went into the office today. The office was on fire. I was gold since 8 o'clock this morning, and now it's 1 o'clock, where maybe it now starts to quiet the storm. So now you're like, okay, well, now I'm going to get my 8-hour day in. I'm going to start from 1 to about 9 p.m. at night. You can't. You have to have a healthy balance, because basically you need that to-do list for the next day. You can't obviously that to-do list is going to always grow. And as we talked about on previous episodes, everything isn't meant to push the needle. There's just things that we're just wasting time on. Oh, well, hey, I need you to go sweep the floor over there. Granted, you want to keep your warehouse clean, but it's just like, okay, if you keep hashing on, oh, well, you see that dust bunny? Oh, you see this? Oh, you see that? It's not pushing the needle. It's just causing more and more stress on stuff that don't need to be focused on.
Hey, Dwyght, I got a question. So we have a nonprofit called Inmates Entrepreneurs. We put millions of folks who've been incarcerated back into business. They come out, doesn't always have the same opportunities as others. And so we help them, hey, you're going to become an entrepreneur and make your own way. And talk about fighting with one arm behind your back. And I'm just looking at a guy who we haven't heard from yet, Colin. And your story is probably interesting coming out. And, you talk about getting pardoned and all these other things at the opening of the show. I would love to know, like, hey, when the wind ain't flying and you're like coming out and you're having to fight for yourself, how did you build what you built, even with a speed bump in the way?
Yeah, that's a good question. Really, the answer to that is not, I mean, I don't think it's of a popular structure. I trust God, man. That's who the Bible is the final authority in my life, not what man says, not what the recession says, not what my business slowing down says, not what the government says about me traveling to the US says. I trust God. That's who's leading my life. And, for us, part of the reason why we want to grow so big is to serve. It's not about the money. We're not chasing the bag. This, for me, this is about legacy. This is about power. This is about providing for my children's children. And the reality is the business is really, for me, just a tool to do other things that I want to do. So right now, I'm in year 3 of ministry school to become a pastor. And that's where it's at. That's where the impact is at for me. The money is not even secondary or third or fourth or fifth on my list of priorities. And, for me, I don't hear that it's a recession. I don't hear that it's slow. I don't hear anything that the news is saying, because I'm going to make it through. I'm going to survive. We're going to find ways to innovate. We'll be all right. I'm not worried about none of that. I don't care about recession, nothing. I don't hear it, because I'm so determined to be the best at what I do, that these roadblocks, I actually call them blessings, and I embrace them, and I want the roadblocks to come, because the Bible says that we have to endure all, not some, but all things, because that builds your endurance, which builds your character, which strengthens your faith. So bring them on, bring the recession on, bring this on. We're going to find ways to overcome it. And we're going to do it with a smile on our face while we're serving everybody else, because that's what it's about for me. It's not about, I just said to my wife the other day, I said, I don't even need to be the highest paid employee in my own company. It's because it's not about the money for us. And that's really, what it is for me, is leaning on God and not man, and not the wisdom of man, but the wisdom of God.
Yeah, I love that story, Colin, by the way. I don't know if you know this about me, but I started a nonprofit church. I came out here with just a few couples, and we started from nothing, and now I have a staff and sit on the board and do that. So you talk about, hey, what can you do in the off season? It sounds like your off season has been putting your head down in the book to be able to do things that can serve. And when a downturn comes, you know what's going to happen? There's going to be more people to serve.
That's right. And we're looking at this as a blessing right now, because our year 3 in ministry school is like really intense. And we're writing papers. We're like, there's a difference between reading and studying, right? And we're, not only just reading the Bible, but we're looking up Greek words, Hebrew words, Aramaic words, and like really finding the meaning. So it's good that we're slow in the business right now, because I have time to focus on what really matters.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing with busy season, like, it's like, why do most owners or so like that want to take a vacation as soon as busy season's over? It's like, you need that reset of your brain. Like, and, so sometimes we look forward to these downtimes so that we can get this reset, take a week vacation or whatever the case is. I'm still feeling like I'm running, all in circles right now. So I'm like, God, when is that reset going to come? When is that reset going to come? And it's, without that reset, it's just like you're so stressed out. You're like, what opportunities are there? Because you can only see this far ahead of you.
I hear you. I just had that reset, so I'm focused and ready to go. I'm set. I just got back from Mexico, so I'm all ready to run.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm all ready. Yeah, but it's been a minute, so it's like, yeah, I'm all ready to run. So I agree with you. But I think one of the things too that we come down to is that first of all, I believe it was Aristotle that said, I know that I don't know anything. So I think we need to remain humble. I think we need to remember what we came from, and like at any moment that it's life, business, just in general. At any moment you may end up right where you started, and you need to be able to refocus, start over, and do what you need to do, and make sure that you correct whatever mistakes you made in the during your journey before that moment. Hopefully that's not what happens, but right now I think, and getting back to what Jay said too, and everybody said the same thing, basically, it's interesting because whether my podcast or this panel and everybody that's talking here, we're all talking about the same thing ultimately. So all these companies that are listening to us, that are choosing to take the words of wisdom, we're trying to give back to the community and help you newbies that are getting into this to not make some mistakes that we make and made in our lives, and hopefully be successful moving forward. Because ultimately, we all have gone through it. Like some people start, they have no clue what they're doing, whether it's moving or something else. And I agree. I think it's better to do one thing great or just be amazing at it than do a bunch of things but be mediocre. It's better to do one thing but do it better than anybody else. I think that is the best. And I think we need to take the knowledge of everybody here, everybody on this panel, and just in general, we have so many years of various experience here with James doing what he's doing with Live Switch, and you got Mario that's been in the industry for 40 years, and Clifford, and Colin, and everybody that's here. We're here to provide the information. I'm like, everybody here is available. We're all available on social media, either it's Facebook or LinkedIn or otherwise. Like, I'm always open. If somebody throws a question at me, I'm on it all the time. So I'll see the question. I will answer the question because I'm always willing to help people. And we do serve, whether it's, in my case, moving companies, or otherwise. We're ultimately, everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to reach a certain point. Everybody wants to provide for their families, build a future for their families, build something, some sort of a legacy that you can leave for your children. Everybody wants that. Mm-hmm. I think it's about realizing that, there's going to be speed bumps in the road, but all this stuff is cyclical. It goes in circles. You have some of these situations, you're going to have, things are going down, things will go back up sooner or later. I mean, one positive with us being involved with the moving industry or removal industry, if you're in UK in general, is the fact that it's going to come back. People are going to move again. People will move now. yeah, they're going to move less because right now people are watching their pennies. So instead of, looking for that house, they realize that the market is too high, so they're going to stay where they are. That's the case with me, so it's not any different, but we're all trying to achieve something. And I think it is about refocusing on our processes during the slow season, trimming the
Definitely.
fat. Maybe there's some people that we would have normally kept, but we kept because it was busy. So, sometimes it's okay to let some people go. Maybe they're not fitting your long-term plans. You have to realize who that is. You got to re-examine your whole operation and see who's going to be there with you and who won't.
Definitely. All right, everyone. So we are at the top of the hour, and there's so much more that we can be hitting on. But I know everybody got to get to work. So we're going to definitely cut it here. And for the next 25 more episodes, we're going to have amazing guests. We probably have a lot more repeats as well because the gems are dropping, and you know what? It's never enough information that can be given. So always keep learning, because if you're not learning, you're not growing. And keep it going. Everybody, definitely take care. Anybody got some final words to say before we take off?
Thank you.
I'm just grateful and humbled to be in a room with so many amazing people. Like, you guys have so many insights, so many stories, and you're champion, showing others how to be the champion in their life. So I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you for having us on, Dwyght.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Definitely. All right, yeah, take care.
Thank you.
Colin, keep rolling with the punches, brother.
Man, you and I got to talk.
Yeah, we